What is a duck? Ducks were first built by General Motors in 1942 and basically a truck like a deuce and a half enclosed in a watertight shell. You may think they're called ducks because they can splash into water out and again, but actually the name is a military acronym. The letters are codes indicating that it was designed in 1942, that's the letter D, for utility amphibious purposes, that's the letter U, and with front-wheel drive, that's the letter K, and 2 rear driving axles, and that is the letter W. So actually, it is a DUK-W. The ducks played a major role in World War II and have been a workhorse ever since, all the way up to recently in Hurricane Katrina, as you can see here.
She's got a pretty loud one too. This one's pretty loud. Well, ahoy, mates! Ahoy! Oh, there's about 4 of you. Ahoy, mates! Ahoy! We're ready to go now. This looks like a fun crowd. Thanks for coming out today. It's good to have you with us on a lovely Tuesday afternoon. It's going to be a hot day today, but we have not yet begun to sweat. I'll be your captain today. My name's Captain Lefty LePew. French, Canadian. It's my pleasure to show you around the park. Today I'd like to welcome you to the most rat-free, leak-proof ship in the entire fleet where practically nothing can ever possibly go wrong. But before we get started, for your own safety, I'll ask that everyone remain seated when the vehicle's in motion, keeping your hands in your heads and all body parts inside of the vehicle. Also, we have 2 fire extinguishers on board. One's up front to my right, one is in the rear under the back seat. And last, there's no smoking of any sort on a vehicle. So we see anyone smoking, we're just going to assume they caught on fire. And well, that's what the fire extinguishers are for, to put them out, all right? All right, now if we look to your left, my right, this is why you're here today. Georgia's #1 attraction, Stone Mountain, attracts over 4 million visitors per year. Now, Stone Mountain is 5 miles around and 825 feet high. That is the largest single piece of exposed granite on Earth. But that little tiny wee bit of granite that you see sticking out of the ground right over there, that is less than 1% of that gigantic rock formation. The rest of that big rock is underground. It's up to 10 miles deep, and it spreads out into 5 surrounding states. Now, Stone Mountain's world-famous carving there, that was completed, everyone but Florida. Stone Mountain's world-famous carving was completed in 1970. That's the largest bas-relief carving in the world. It's actually larger than Mount Rushmore. Now, it hardly looks like it from here because it's, again, such a large background. But you ride that sky ride, you get a much closer look at it. You see how gigantic it really is. It's 190 feet wide, 90 feet tall, and carved 42 feet into the face of the mountain. And the 3 men on the carving from the left is Jefferson Davis, who was president of the Confederate States of America during the Civil War. He's on his horse Blackjack. The center is General Robert E. Lee, who was commander of the Confederate Army of Northern Virginia on his horse Traveler. And on the right, Lieutenant General Stonewall Jackson, also a commander of the Confederate Army of Northern Virginia on his horse Little Sorrel. There's one more carving, though, I'd like to show you now. This carving's not even in the brochure. At the very top, now look at the big round curve part. At the very top of the mountain, you will see the world's largest carving of the top of Captain LePew's head. Yes. Montagne Pelon, eh? Is that an amazing likeness there? Yeah? Somebody said there's probably a little more hair up there, but nonetheless, as we get underway here, if you are afraid of looking silly, riding down the street, quacking on your quacker and waving and quacking at anything you might see moving alongside the road out there, let me remind you that you are on duck. So, you already look silly. Now, have fun with that. There's nothing we can do on board. hall, you can learn everything you ever wanted to know about the long, detailed history of the carving. There's even a museum on the second floor where you can learn about the early history of this whole area through the Civil War. And the museum contains one of the largest collections of Civil War artifacts in the country. The Sky Ride's up next. I always recommend riding that as early in the day as possible if you're not afraid of heights. That is fastest and the easiest way up the mountain. Lift you 825 feet in the air to the top of the mountain in around 3 minutes. Now this area on the right is one of Stone Mountain's old granite quarries. And Stone Mountain's granite quarries were an important part of the local economy here for over 150 years. One of the very last pieces of Stone Mountain granite was taken out of this area right here in 1975. It was sent to downtown Atlanta to be used in the Martin Luther King Memorial. And you can find Stone Mountain granite all around the world. It's in our nation's courthouses and federal buildings. It's in the base of the Lincoln Memorial, the Windsor Tunnel between Detroit and Canada, the Panama Canal, and even as far away as the Imperial Hotel in Tokyo, Japan. Now this picnic area over here, you should see this on sunny summer weekends and holidays when every single one of these picnic sites is filled up through here. The smell of barbecue just fills the air right through here. There are about 100 of these barbecue pits and picnic tables in this one area alone, but you see these picnic tables, they're kind of special. There's over 1,000 of those throughout the park. Can anybody guess what those picnic tables might be made out of?
Granite.
Granite's a very good guess. They're all made of concrete. Sorry, that's the oldest joke in the park. No professional comedians were harmed at all. So
That one's made of wood.
they won't even let me have a plank anymore. In fact, the Coast Guard, my boss, and my lawyer have all made it very, very clear. I'm to insist that everyone is to stay inside of the boat, and that's why they had to start counting to make sure that I bring back the same number I left with. No cheating, not even the wee ones, so that no one's going down to Davy Jones' locker today. A little water safety information to cover. First of all, some safety equipment on board. I have an expandable retrieval hook. I have 2 flotation throw rings on a 30-foot rope. Can be thrown out and pulled back in. One's over the top of my head and one is attached to the back of the vehicle. Now, in the case of any water emergency, everyone would be required to put on a personal flotation device. 12 and under, you already have one on. That's a Georgia state law. Otherwise, 90 pounds and under on this side, 90 pounds and over on this side. Simply pull down on the little yellow tab. 2 PFDs come dropping down in your lap, and they're very easy to put on. Just unclip the clip in front, open it up, place it over the top of your head, pull the strap around the back, and then clip the clip in front. Now, on the water, it's also very important to know where your emergency exits are. Yeah, there you go. Over here, these great big windows over here, and over here, these great big windows over here on the water, those would be your emergency exits. Hopefully, we will not need to use any of those today. We do prefer to use the stairs. So with that, let's set sail. Get this ducks. So far, so good. All right, they've just given me permission to drive a 70-year-old World War II surplus vehicle full of people into the water at 35 miles per hour. I guess the big question today is, does a duck float? It says it does on the internet, so I think we'll be fine. Okay? Let's find out. on to the babies.
5,
Hold on to your crackers.
3, 2, 1.
All right, well, we're now in the water and we do appear to be floating. I'm so glad that happens, aren't you? And now that we're in the water, we are floating. Captain astronaut, the seatbelt sign, however, the no smoking sign is still lit. Now the name of this shark-infested lake that we just splashed down into is Lake WWII. Okay, the brochure says it's Stone Mountain Lake, and they made a little mistake there. They're gonna fix that. No, I know they are. This lake is the largest of the 5 man-made lakes in Stone Mountain Park. Now, before this lake was here, Highway 78 between Atlanta and Athens, Georgia, crossed right in front of the mountain over there, and it came right down on that little road that we just splashed down in on. It crossed over a small bridge right here over a small natural stream. So one of the very first things they had to do was reroute Highway 78 to where it is today. They tore down the little bridge that used to be here, and this is all that remains of that. Built an earthen dam back there to hold back the water, and the lake took 2 years to dig out and another 2 years to fill back up with water. About 30, 40 feet deep. Pretty good fishing too. Now I mentioned a covered bridge just a minute ago. If you look way to the right, way out the back there between the trees, you can actually see the covered bridge from this view. And that covered bridge was relocated to the park from Athens, Georgia. It's a little 1-lane bridge, and you can even drive a car across it. So if you get a chance to visit down there, it's certainly worth your time. It's just real pretty, and you just can't help but get some great pictures down there. And the beach up here is not really open to the public. That's one of the 9 pavilions in the park. It's available for rentals for private functions, but they don't encourage any swimming in the water at all. Something to do with the slithery snakes and the alligator snapping turtles. And that building right over there, that's the Commons Clubhouse. Now inside the Commons restaurant serves a Southern-style lunch and dinner, and they have a magnificent view of the mountain from their balcony right there. Inside, there's also a full bar and a golf pro shop that services 2 18-hole championship golf courses in the park. The Stonemont on the other side of the road, Lakemont on this side of the road. They're both open to the public, and memberships are available. The greens right here, that's hole number 1, Lakemont Golf Course. Now, at this point, we are floating along nicely. Everything seems to be going just well. This is where you like to invite the children to get a chance to come up and sit in the captain's seat and bring a quacker and a camera and get a picture driving the duck. How's that sound? Yeah. I'm going to start at the front here and work my way to the back. Okay, so who's first? You? Oh, come on up here. Get us started here. There you go. Have a seat. Grab the wheel. And if you want to set the cameras up with that little white button, I can press this little dot right here. All right, grab the wheel and see where she's going to take us. Drop the shoulder so we see your face. There you go. And did you bring your quacker with you? Tucked away. Put that in.
Yeah, them are little, aren't they? Those are handy. There you go. All right, you driving that? You driving? No, not yet.
A couple more years later. And where's your quacker right there? There you go. The blue one. I know you need the blue quacker. Here, do me another favor here. Take this. Take this in. Look out there. Look for icebergs. Tell me if you see any icebergs out there. How we doing? No icebergs. We're good. No. Yeah, you've heard that story about the boat and the icebergs, and that didn't end well at all, did they? Yeah, we're always watching for those out here. serious business there. And move it back. 1, 2, 1, 2. There you go. You've driven a duck before? Here? In Stone?
Chattanooga.
Chattanooga, yep. That one goes in the river. Does it go in and out a couple times? Or
No, it just goes in one.
like an hour long? Yeah. They stop. I was wondering, do they stop for the bathroom or what? No? It's over an hour. Yeah. That guy poses he's trained too, yeah?
When you have to go, it's like water on a duck's back.
There you go. They just go off the back, right? and a quack, of course. Now that paddle boat you see over there, that is the Scarlet O'Hara. That was a 150-person paddle boat we used to operate out here, but she's with you, right? Yeah. Your sister? Get your sister up. Great. Let your sister up. That'd be great. So that, but it was a 150-person paddle boat that we used to operate out here, but it's a little too old and unsafe to operate, so it's retired now, and all it does is sit over there looking pretty, so. Here, grab the wheel. There you go. We're gonna, ooh, we got, this is the perfect picture. It's got the mountain and everything in that. So it's retired, all sits over there looking pretty. There's some talk of turning it into a Starbucks. Great. You got the mountain into that. You're not going to get you. Take this back at 2. Watch your step here, though. So the thing over here that you're coming up on that's called the carillon. Now the carillon is a musical instrument. Carillon. Carol, it's like carillon. C-A-R-R, and even an I, carillon, something like that. Carillon. This thing was made for the 1964 New York City World's Fair and then later donated to the state of Georgia by the Coca-Cola Company. That's how it got to be in the park with us. But, who's next? Children, we'll go back. Who's next? Yeah. So, but the carillon is a musical instrument, and that thing right there, though, however, is not the actual carillon. What that is a sculpture, and it has speakers inside that broadcast the carillon, the actual carillon. Sits right up behind the trees right over there. You can almost see it through the trees. There's a building. Just press it anywhere. Okay. So it sits up behind the trees. A little building up there has glass windows all around it. And the carillon looks like a church organ. It's played a lot like a church organ as well. If you would imagine a pipe organ, but instead of the pipes that produce the carillon, 732 Belgian brass bells to produce the sound. So when the carillon's played, it sounds like bells. Basically, when the keys are struck, the hammer will strike one of the bells, and one for each note, and that sound is then amplified, sent through the speaker system out here. Now, we are lucky enough, we have a lady, Miss Mabel Sharp. Miss Mabel Sharp's been coming out to play the carillon for us on the weekends now for over 40 years. And Miss Mabel's in her 90s now, though, so today's Tuesday, she won't be here. But Saturdays and Sundays, she comes out here and sits up there and looks out the glass windows and watches the ducks kind of coming and going. We're kind of her entertainment out here. But she loves it. She loves visitors, too. If you ever want to see the carillon, if you're lucky enough to catch her, or you can see it any time. It's inside the glass windows. But right next to the Stone Mountain Inn, and who's next? Right next to the Stone Mountain Inn, if you were to turn down that road, you'll see a big sign that says the Carillon. Now you can turn down that road, and there's about 24 parking spots. I think he's got a fish over there, doesn't he? Yeah. There's about 24 parking spots down there. You can get out and walk down a short little trail. You'll see the little building with the glass windows. You can look in there and see the Carillon. Now, if you were to continue to walk down that little trail right there, you can walk right down on this little peninsula. It leads right out here. You can stand right over there where you see these people. Just real pretty over there. You just can't help it. You get some great pictures there. We even had people getting married out there under the Carillon. Turn this direction. Any more children? I see some ones in the very back. Are they going to go? Are they just too shy? You were my friends there. I'll let you get a picture with the duck. Well, that, silliest thing you ever saw. Were there any big kids that wanted a new profile picture? Any of the big kids' moms? Any big kids? No. Yeah. Teenagers. I don't know too many teenagers, do I?
He's a big kid.
He's a big. You want to give it a go? Well, there you go. You're gonna have to hold his GoPro. Hold his GoPro. Make sure he gets pictures on that.
Here, you wanna?
And you have a regular camera.
Yeah.
Get your mom's camera there where you can get him a picture, some still shot, so you can have a new
Take
profile
that up
picture.
there. Okay. Thank you. Okay, I will. We'll do it.
It's a great big giant. There it is. We can squeeze that down there. He's got it. He's driving the duck. Now they'll believe her. Here you go. Look for icebergs out there.
What?
That's the ticket.
All clear, Cap.
Oh, all clear. Good, good. Now we got some good profile pictures here. Mom's coming up? Okay. Mom's going to get him to go. Watch her step here. Years ago, more than 21,000 of these amphibious vehicles were manufactured in Pontiac, Michigan to be used in World War II, and these ducks were all used to carry troops, equipment, supplies, and ammunition from ship to shore, as well as to carry injured soldiers back to ship hospitals. Now, the nickname duck is somewhat accidental. That comes from the military manufacturing code, the DUK-W, where the D stands for the model date of design. That's 1942. U stands for utility, in this case, an amphibious vehicle for land and water. The K stands for all-wheel drive. The W stands for a dual rear drive axle. Now, the ducks were all designed around the standard 6-wheel drive, 2.5-ton Army cargo truck, the CCKW, which is also known as, anyone know?
Deuce and a half.
The Deuce and a Half, yes. So this is a floating Deuce and a Half cargo truck with a frame and a hull. Now, in World War II, that was helpful because many of the parts were already in production and interchangeable. Also, keep in mind that in World War II, most able-bodied men were away fighting a war, and women took their places in the factories. Therefore, most of these World War II DUK-Ws were made mostly by women. That's why they're so well made, right? Still around today, a little loud and high maintenance, but other than that, they're dependable. And this duck we're sitting in here today is a genuine World War II DUK-W, but the only original parts are the frame and the hull. Everything else has been modified to meet our needs at Ride a Duck. So today we can enjoy a roof over our heads, these comfortable seats. I've even got automatic transmission, power steering, and central air conditioning. Vintage. It's a window unit. And the whole time we're in the water, well, the propeller back there is pushing us along, but the wheels are also right underneath us, turning just like they do on land. So we're going to drive this thing right out of the water. Well, how are we doing back there? We didn't lose anybody this time, did we?
This time.
Great. I tell you what, we're out of the water. If you'd like, you could take these life jackets off now, because I know they're just hot and uncomfortable. We don't need those anymore, so. And just before we do get back on the road here, there's just one small bit of housekeeping I do have to take care of. I have to run my bilge pumps here and put some of the water back into the lake that we took out back there. Just take a few seconds. That should clear that up. And we're on the road again. Up on the left, quack attack over here. Quack attack. Ready and fire! Road right here leads right down to Cedar Carolina. It's just down there on the right.
It's not working. I'm
Quacker's ready, Quacker's ready, here it comes. All right, if you'll pass these life jackets, just pass all these over here to your left over here. Whoop, I'm sorry, you're attending over there. Just pass all these to the left. And congratulations, you survived Captain LePew's ride to the And I do hope you enjoyed the ride. If you enjoyed the ride, remember my name's Captain Lefty LePew. If you haven't enjoyed the ride, if you didn't have any fun at all today, my name's Captain Tom. Now, these quackers are yours to keep. Take home, enjoy the rest of the day and on the long ride home. And if you, yeah, there's dozens of these things scattered about the roadside, just outside the park. I'm not sure why that is, but hey, with these school children, though, you know, they can be a little hard to get out of bed sometime in the morning, right? Huh? Hang on to these when school starts up. They're going to come in real handy. First thing in the morning, yeah, there you go. Now, anyways, take a minute, look around, make sure you haven't left anything, any personal items of any value behind you. Leave anything of any value behind. You'll be able to find it after tomorrow morning on my eBay account. Reasonable prices on everything, of course. But it's been my pleasure showing you around the park. Hope you enjoyed the ride. Enjoy the rest of your day. Come back ride with us again soon now. I'm going to let the plank out here and give you something to dance off to.
All right.
Thank you, sir.